Argyle's turbulent start to the season continued in the winds of Storm Amy against Wigan on Saturday.
Steps up, left-footed. Oh my goodness me, how casual is that? Delicate, beautiful.
Yeah, not necessarily a game that will live long in the memory bank for people that were there. However, 2 second-half stings, one from each side, meant that the game ended in a draw. A first draw for Argyle of the season, and actually a first for 19 matches in the league anyway, since they played against Watford in March, of course coached by Tom Cleverley. See how it all comes around. This is Argyle Analysis. We'll be looking back at that game, trying to find out the reasons why the game maybe wasn't one for either side. And joining me, as usual, to go through it is, of course, Aaron Cusack. We mentioned Storm Amy right at the start. It seemed to be a theme. The game didn't quite kind of hit the fever pitch that was befitting maybe of strong winds or whatever, but maybe that's the reason why.
Absolutely. It wasn't, like you said, it won't last in the memory too long. It wasn't the best spectacle. I think on the balance of the game, I think a draw was probably a fair result. I don't think either team really took a stranglehold of it. Both teams kind of huffed and puffed. It was clearly evident of what Wigan were trying to do second half, which then saw out for a draw overall.
Yeah, there was a feeling, though, when Laurent Talai Panenke'd Argyle in front, and I've been following on social media to see whether there's been a Panenka from an Argyle player before. There wasn't a definitive answer. But it felt at that moment as if, well, it's not been a great game, but by the looks of things, Argyle are going to go out and get the win.
Yeah. They
had, 15 or so minutes to hang on. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
No, absolutely. And like you said, it wasn't a classic. And the fact that they got their noses in front, you know, they're the types of games over the course of the season where you look back and go, oh, that was a 3 points where you really ground it out. Not to be at this juncture, perhaps goes hand in hand with the inconsistency that we are seeing. And Cleverley kind of recognised that in his post-match interview. So, but if you can add any positivity, they didn't lose the game. And that's key as well. So if you're not going to win it, make sure you don't lose it, which they didn't. They've gained a point, and now they just move on. And
we'd seen Argyle lose a couple of matches this season at home, actually, in similar sorts of matches, Leyton Orient, Peterborough.
Yeah.
So they picked up the point.
Absolutely.
The run against Wigan goes on, though, unfortunately. We were highlighting beforehand about how long it had been since Argyle had beaten Wigan. 2004. So that was just under 22 years, basically. So that's going to go on to another
go
year,
again,
unfortunately. But we've got the reverse fixture to come.
Absolutely.
Right, let's go through the game. So there were a couple of maybe aspects or themes that led to the reasoning of it not being the most incredible spectacle. We've mentioned the weather, which we'll come on to in a minute. Maybe the way in which the teams were set up was another way and cancelled each other out, which we'll come on to in a minute. But the first one, and I absolutely hate doing this normally, but is kind of around refereeing and decisions. And we're not going to pick out the referee, Ben Atkinson, here. But Argyle's goal was a result of a few things that maybe the referee would have seen. Wigan weren't happy with the decision. Argyle getting the rub of the green.
Yeah, you know, so what we've got is a series of moments where there was a catalogue of grabbing and holding. We know it goes on in the game, Charlie, don't we? But we do wonder whether we've got left-hand side of the screen, Sessegnon and Talai, you know, almost got him in a choke hold. And then at that moment, I think Ameson's going to do the same to Hosseini. So at this point, Talai's already going to ground. Hosseini's about to go to ground. So that was clearly a theme for Wigan to disrupt. And I do wonder, I think Hosseini picks up a booking in this moment, but I do wonder if they started to plant the seed. We've also got Ross in the middle of the screen as well, or in the middle of the box, where Amerson, again, like just grabbing hold, and it was happening quite frequently. And it does happen all the time, every week in, week out. But we don't know whether the players are in the referee's ear. You know, second half, Jensen, Weir and Galloway going at it. This is a few minutes prior to the penalty being awarded. So you can just see maybe the messages being relayed to the referee about planting the seed of grabbing hold. So he's becoming more alert to the moment. Nothing comes of this moment, of course, but 2 or 3 minutes later, we've got the corner from Patterson, in it comes. And to the naked eye, it looked a very soft penalty. One that was given against us a few weeks ago. Obviously, we take it. But from this angle here, we do wonder if Amerson's just got Talai's shirt and he's behind him, because he's pulling him. He's in the view of the referee, and he continues to hold on to him, and then it's a coming together, and Talai goes to ground. So we think that's probably the reasoning why the penalty was given, albeit soft. But if you want to see a man in confidence, there it is right there. Yeah. What a delicious little finish that is. Just a little dink, and someone who is just oozing confidence, isn't he? And what a great penalty in the circumstances.
Yeah, amazing finish from Talai. Keeps his run of scoring going as well. I think that's 5 in the league, now 7 in all comps. But, you know, yes, I am definitely firmly on the side of I don't think that's a penalty.
No.
And I think there's a lot of people that are in that. We've highlighted there potentially a reason why the referee gave it, but also, as we've kind of seen, and, you know, it goes on a lot in every game, holding, grappling, whatever. Players do get in the ears of referees, don't they? And there's there's a theory potentially the Argyle players were just saying, watch this, watch Ameson. He's done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And eventually it comes. We're trying to explain something we don't necessarily believe in, but
well,
that's maybe the
I mean, it's a valid point, Charlie. I think what football players will do, which we don't always see week in, week out, is they will try their best to manipulate the referee. You know, so those little messages, just walking past the referee's shoulder saying, look, he's grabbing hold of him already, what that does is just creates an alertness. So the referee is now more alert of that situation, and it heightens his awareness of it, leading to what looks like a soft penalty. I think where everyone's struggling across the land is there's too much inconsistency going on. You know, what is a foul, what's not a foul.
The Galloway-Weir grapple is more of a foul.
Yeah, I agree.
Than the one that was given as a penalty.
And then it's not given, isn't it? And then we don't know whether the referee feels he might have missed that one. So does he try and even it up by giving what seems to be a softer one? We've seen them given against us, the Stockport one in particular early in the season. Right,
let's have a look at some of the other scores from the division over the weekend then as well. Superb comeback actually from Bradford against Rotherham. That was on Thursday night. Bolton getting back to winning ways. An absolute stormer in South Wales. Cardiff 4-3 winners over Leyton Orient. Stockport getting a vital away win. Exeter winning at Lincoln. Stevenage, though, the standout, winning 2-0 at home against Luton to go top of the table, leapfrogging Bradford, who dropped to second. Lincoln still up there in fourth, and AFC Wimbledon, who play Argyle next in those playoff places. There you go, Argyle and Wigan. They were linked on points and out of separated just with goal difference before the game, and they are still now, of course, after that draw.